to It's Not What You Know. Hello, I'm Joe Lycett, a Radio 4 presenter who's also a big fan of grime music, which is kind of like a Radio 1 presenter who's also a big fan of reading and writing. Now, I often say it's not what you know, but who you know. For example, it takes 3 years to study for a degree in drama, but you only have to meet James Corden to realise it won't necessarily do you any good. And my friend Oliver doesn't know much about Pythagoras' theorem, but it didn't stop him from sleeping with all of our maths teachers. This programme is not about what you know, it's about who you know, and most importantly, how well you know them. Every week we get 3 guests and ask each of them to nominate someone they know, who then gets rung up by me and asked a lot of really important questions. Questions like, do you have an extendable dining table? Or, what's your favourite flavour of lip balm? If you're interested, mine's hot chili pepper. Great for a winter morning or when you want to startle an old friend. Tonight's panellists have to guess the answers their nominees gave, and if they get enough of them right, they'll win tonight's star prize, a murder mystery weekend. Sorry, misread that. You'll spend a weekend being questioned by police who are trying to solve a mysterious murder in which you have been implicated. But who'll be heading off for what promises to be an unforgettable 48 hours? It'll be one of tonight's guests, Giles Brandreth, Phil Wang and Sarah Kendall. Our first guest this week is author, presenter, former MP, Just a Minute regular, and I'm being very careful with my language here, personality, Giles Brandreth. Giles is currently a regular on BBC One's The One Show. If you're a Radio 4 listener and haven't seen The One Show, just imagine the Today programme, but with all of the information taken out. Giles, who have you nominated to answer my questions this evening?
I've nominated someone very special who I first met about 20 years ago, I suppose. And she struck me then as being brilliant, as well as beautiful, amusing, highly intelligent, very observant. And she also struck me as someone who had an extraordinary Baltimore accent.
Well, let's see who you've gone for.
My name is Kasia Engler. I'm an actress. I live in London, and I know Giles because he is my father-in-law, so through his son.
So she's an actress. Does she always seem like she's pleased to see you?
She's a very fine actress. And she and I have been appearing recently in a production of Hamlet. I first appeared in Hamlet many years ago when I was a young actor. It was not successful. The audience did not like it. And then they made that very clear. I mean, they really did, Phil. They threw eggs at me, you know, went on as Hamlet, came off as omelette.
Welcome, Giles and Kasia. Our next guest is stand-up and sketch comedian Phil Wang. Phil got great reviews for his recent live show, Kinabalu, which is named after the place in Malaysia where his family came from. If I did that, my show would be called Off Junction 6 of the M6, just past the Matalan. Phil, who did you decide to nominate?
I have nominated a man who I met a few years ago in Stoke-on-Trent, and ever since he's been a guiding light in my life.
Well, let's find out who it is.
I'm Benny Wang, a Malaysian. I'm a civil engineer. Philip is, of course, my eldest child.
So you met him in Stoke-on-Trent?
Yes, my mother from Stoke, and that's where I was born.
Right.
And
Did you meet? Was it like a handshake?
Yeah, so that was where I was born. We flew back to Malaysia about a week after I was born. So I don't remember Stoke, much to my benefit by the sounds of it.
Well, welcome Phil and Benny. Finally this evening, let's say hello to stand-up comedian Sarah Kendall. Sarah is from Australia, but if she keeps her mouth closed, she can almost pass for a proper lady. Sarah, who have you chosen?
I have chosen a man who I've also known for a very long time. When I was 4, he told me that if I moved my head fast enough to the left, I'd be able to see my ear. And
hang on, let me try.
Yeah.
Let's see who you've chosen.
My name is Philip Kendall. I'm a dentist. I live in Newcastle, Australia. I know Sarah because she's my daughter.
So Philip knows you because you're his daughter. Yeah. How do you know him?
I was working as a waitress in a cocktail bar.
Has he been a bit nervy about this programme?
It's been so weird. Every time I've spoken to, because obviously he gets called up by the show and they interview all of our nominees. But my dad, every time I've spoken to him, he's just been going, "Oh, you've got it coming." I'm like,
I can confirm you have.
I'm not sure if that has utterly misinterpreted what this show is, and just said a load of stuff about me that I've this really private or so. I'm genuinely a little bit. I'm not sure if this was the best idea I've ever had, but you know.
Well, welcome Sarah and Philip and all of our guests. Now, it seems a shame to spoil the happy atmosphere, but it's time for round one. In round one, we ask your nominees questions about what they think about you, and then you have to try and guess what they might have said. Giles, we asked your daughter-in-law, Kasia, if Giles had a superpower, what superpower would he choose?
A superpower? Well, would this include talking non-stop till the end of time? What sort of superpower would I like? Well, I suppose I'd like to be able to be offered loaves and fishes, just a handful of them, and feed the world. That's a superpower.
Okay. Do you think Kasia will have said that about you? Knowing you as she does?
I don't know. She might see me as the new Messiah. If she's got any sense, she worships my son, so I could indeed be God because I'm the father. I don't know.
I mean, this was meant to be a light question. We've created a real Messiah complex here.
No, you asked about superpowers. I'm just going for broke. I'm going for the kill. I am seeing now Kasia is this gorgeous creature who could be, well, she is perfection. And she has chosen to marry my son, who is perfection. And he is wonderful. And so I shall say that she would think that my superpower was to be a kind of deity. What do you want to diminish it and put me on somewhat? Give me some other examples.
I don't want to do anything. I'm just so happy you're here.
Well, this is the effect that the Almighty has, spreading happiness.
Okay. So you want to be God. Let's see. Kasia?
If there's a superhero that could be have a megaphone effect on your voice so that the whole world could hear you at once.
So a megaphone effect on your voice so the whole world could hear you, which is kind of close to what you first
Well,
said.
can I say, she saw me speaking through this foghorn to the world, the message. And the message is, God is good and he is among you again.
Can't wait for the complaints for this one. Unfortunately, no points for you there. Phil, it's your go now. We asked your dad, when have you been most ashamed of Phil? Oh, I love this show. I love this show. Is he ever ashamed of you?
Yes, probably all the time. It's hard to tell. He's living in Malaysia at the moment, which might be because he's so ashamed of me. He has to be on the other side of the world. It'd probably be something really embarrassing from childhood when I just pooed myself or fell down or when I gave up my engineering degree to become a comedian. One of those.
Well, let's find out from Benny.
Maybe one time in the school when he was quite young, the sport, and then they have 100 meters, and everybody try to be the first, but then he went halfway and he never bothered to run, he just walked straight to the finishing line.
It was a thing that happened at school.
Yeah,
it wasn't you
kinda
pooing yourself or falling over, but I mean, you didn't finish the 100 meters. You just finished halfway. What?
Because he pooed himself.
It's very hard to style that out if you're running. It suddenly becomes less a game of speed and a game of control.
Paula Radcliffe managed it. I'm going to give you a point for that because it was close enough. Now, we're going to you, Sarah. We asked your dad, Philip, what embarrasses you most about Sarah? It's hard to imagine that you could do anything embarrassing, but what might your dad have said?
The thing about me that embarrasses him the most.
What embarrasses you most about Sarah?
Oh, God, that's such a horrible question. This is dredging up all these feelings. I think when I go for medical appointments, I'm too chummy with doctors and specialists and stuff. I think it's banter and...
I mean, how are you bantering with medical professionals?
That's exactly the situation that I mean. Like, if you're going in for some sort of procedure and then instead of answering straight questions, you're just trying to be funny and get along with them, I think... And that sounds like my dad accompanies me to medical appointments and I'm 41 years old.
Well, let's see what Philip says.
She naturally has her volume set rather high. I sometimes cringe a little bit when we're out in public because she really does speak loudly. She doesn't mean to. It's voice projection. She can say things that you really don't want broadcast around a room.
It's a brutal show, this. It's close, it's close. Yes, Philip said that what embarrasses him most about Sarah is the volume at which she speaks and basically what she says. I suspect Philip's real problem is with Sarah constantly drawing people's attention to all of his own bad habits, from putting his recycling in the wrong bin to starting bushfires. 1 point to Sarah there. Giles, it's your turn again. We put this question to Kasha. What's the most annoying thing about Giles? Any ideas, Giles? Any ideas at all?
I'm completely stumped on this one. As I'm sure she would have been as well. No, always being jolly.
OK, let's see what Kasha thinks.
He says, well done, to everyone, no matter what they're doing, how easy or how hard. And people feel that maybe he's not paying attention properly. Well done.
Well, can I say to Kasha, well done, that was a brilliant answer.
Do you know what? I'm going to give you a point for that because it's sort of, well done is a sort of jovial thing that's hiding neglect. Here's one for you, Phil. We asked Benny, what's the best thing about having Phil as a son? Phil, what will Benny say?
Probably the 24/7 tech support that I apparently signed up to when I learned to talk.
And are you a good support?
No, I'm terrible. I don't want to help. I'm rude. I charge a lot. Hey.
So you're going with tech support?
Yeah.
Benny, what's so great about Phil?
He was quite a obedient boy. Never complained. Basically, do as he was told.
Yes, he said you were quite an obedient boy, never complained, did as you were told. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's how I got trapped as his tech support.
Yes, Phil never complained and did as he was told. Certainly suggests that as well as a successful comedian, Phil would also make an excellent gimp.
I would be an excellent gimp, but I might stop halfway.
Beautiful. Sarah, we've got one for you now. We asked Philip, who is Sarah's all-time hero? Who is your hero? And will your dad get it right?
Going on my younger self, I reckon he would put me down for Lucille Ball.
OK, Lucille Ball. Philip, who is Sarah's all-time hero?
A bit of a toss-up. She certainly admires Hillary Clinton, and she's the hero du jour. But she's always had a lot of admiration for Jane Fonda.
So close and yet so far.
Damn, yes!
Jane Fonda, so...
Yeah, I met Jane Fonda. I went to get a book signed, and I was so excited to meet her. And she said, "How are you?" And I said, "I'm fine, thanks. How are you?" And then she took off her glasses and she said, "No one asks me at these things. You have an unusual presence."
She said that to everyone in the queue.
Yeah.
I was there. She said the same to me. Yes, Philip tells us that Sarah's all-time hero, and I'm taking his word for it, is either Hillary Clinton or Jane Fonda. Hillary Clinton or Jane Fonda? A question Bill Clinton asks himself every night. So that's the end of round one. And in third place is Phil, but in joint first place is Giles and Sarah. In round one, we found out what the nominees know about the panellists. In round two, we see just how well the panellists know their nominees. Giles, let's find out how well you know your daughter-in-law, Kasha. Hopefully well enough, but not so well that it's inappropriate. We asked her, what have you never done that everyone else has?
It'll be some food thing. It'll be food-related. She never eats steak because she can't bear to tell people how she wants it prepared.
How does she want it prepared?
Well done.
Well done. You opened the door, I walked straight on in, didn't I?
It will be a type of food that others in the family eat and love and that she doesn't.
OK, let's ask Kasia.
I've never had a two-way. Never done any kind of adventurous, more than one person sex partner.
This is what she said. We should unpack this a bit. We think two-way is a reference to something sexual that Kasia has misunderstood, which probably meant three-way. But maybe you know more about her habits than we do.
I suspect that when I was a Member of Parliament...
Wow, where are you going with this?
To be amusing, I said that I was Tommy Two-Ways in order to show that I was ready to play the field. You know, that I could fancy you, Joe, as well as fancying Sarah.
Well, I am two-way, and I do fancy both of you, so...
Yeah, exactly.
What an evening I'm going to have.
So you know what she meant, but maybe a two-way is a kind of sweet or something.
No, hang on. I've never done anything adventurous with more than one sex partner.
I've never... But excuse me, the question was, what have you done that... What everybody else, implying everybody else in the family has? I'm discovering things about my son I never knew.
Yeah.
And is this the way she thinks of her mother-in-law? My darling wife? There's a linguistic misunderstanding here. You must have caught her very late in the evening. Was she tipsy or something? This is not the daughter-in-law. I've never had a two-way, and she sounded almost regretful. But actually, in the current climate, I'd like to have the last 3 minutes withdrawn.
Yes, Kasia says she has never had a two-way. She has very strict morals and will only take part in sexual encounters with an odd number of people present. No points. Phil, we asked Benny. Benny, if there had been a murder and you could choose any detective to investigate it, who would you choose?
Jackie Chan actually does play a detective in a lot of his films, and he's also hilarious. So I guess it would have to be Jet Li.
Benny, who is your chosen detective?
There's one film called Christopher Columbus, is it? Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, Columbo, is it? I think I quite like his film. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I said Christopher Columbus. I mean Columbo. Now, Sarah, let's see how well you know your father, Philip. Philip, if you were reincarnated, who or what would you most like to come back as?
It's going to be something really macho. Something really macho with a gun. Is there anything like that in history? Just trying to think of something off the top of my head that's a man with a gun. James Bond.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's
loves
obsessed
James Bond.
he loves James Bond.
Who would you come back as, Philip?
My mother-in-law's cat.
Just for a minute, imagine being me for all of that preceding bit, knowing the answer. Yes, Philip Kendall would come back as his mother-in-law's cat because it was spoilt rotten. If you want to know how to spoil a cat, it's much like a casserole. Just leave it in the oven too long. That's the end of round 2. And in third place with 1 point is Phil. Second place with 2 points is Sarah. And first place with 3 points is Giles. These are the rules for round 3. I'll read out the answer to a question, and what you have to do is tell me which of tonight's nominees, Kasia, Benny or Philip, said that their favourite comedy act of all time is The Two Ronnies. Who do you think that was?
It's going to be definitely Sarah's dad, Phil the dentist.
Why do you say that?
Because we've got the flavour of this man. And the Two Ronnies were huge in Australia. They did some dental sketches. I feel that Benny is so totally locked into the Chinese culture, the heritage, that he will not be choosing the Two Ronnies. Sure, it's not Kasia. It's definitely, without any question at all, Sarah's dad. I'll take the points now.
Let's find out who likes The Two Ronnies.
The Two Ronnies.
It was Benny! No points. Phil, you get to have a go now.
Oh, sweet.
Which of our nominees said that their favourite dictator is Napoleon? Who do you think that was?
I don't think my father's into Napoleon. I think Giles is right in this sense. He's into British comedy, but he's into Asian massacres. We do it better. Kasia sounds like a sophisticated lady. She might be into Francophile sort of thing. I'm going to say Philip, Sarah's father.
OK, let's find out who it is.
Napoleon. It would have to be Napoleon.
It's Philip Kendall. So, breathe slowly now and count to 10, because things are about to get even more exciting than they already are. We're going to bring in some buzzers for the next few questions. Ooh. But if you buzz in and you're wrong, a point will be deducted from your overall score. As they say so often on The One Show, this is probably all going to go wrong, but I suppose Giles has to be involved somehow. Which of our nominees said that they won a prize at school for throwing the javelin? Who could that have been? Sarah?
I'm going to say Benny.
Going with Benny. Let's find out.
Throwing javelin.
It's Benny.
I had no idea.
Yes, Benny won a prize for throwing the javelin. Some people discipline their kids by stopping their pocket money or grounding them. Phil's dad would punish him by throwing a javelin at him from increasingly impressive distances. Which of our three nominees, Kasia, Benny or Philip, said that they once shoplifted a bra? Oh, Phil's gone straight in. Who do you think?
I mean, I'm going to play Occam's razor here. And
ooh, very Radio 4.
By which I mean, go for the obvious answer, Kasia.
Let's hear the answer.
When I was a young teenager, I used to steal little things. I was shoplifted. Right? I think I stole a bra once.
It's Kasia. She doesn't seem so pure anymore, does she?
This is, of course, before our family knew her.
Yes, it was Kasia who, as a young teenager, stole a bra. Much like the mafia, you need to commit at least one serious offence before you can be initiated into the Brandreth family. 2 points. Here's one more. Which of our nominees, Kasia, Benny or Phil, said that if they could live anywhere in the world, they would live in Kinabalu, Malaysia? Hang on, let me give you the options. Is it Giles, daughter-in-law Kasia, Sarah's dad Philip, or the other guy? Phil?
As much as it pains me to say, considering his entire family is now in the UK, I would say my father.
I can't bear the suspense. Let's see.
She lives in Malaysia, in Kota Kinabalu.
It's Benny! Yes, it is in fact Benny Wang, who has a special fondness for Malaysia. Benny's family home of Kinabalu is the natural habitat for a number of orangutans, who are now an endangered species, and Benny would love to go back with his javelin and finish the job. 2 points there, and it's the end of round 3, and I can tell you in third place is Giles, second place is Sarah, and right out in front it's Phil! It's time for round 4. We call this round...
One massive question.
In this round, we ask only one question. What kind of question? It's a massive one. This round has in the past produced tears, anger, and a lot of hugging. And that was just me. I get overexcited. And it's not surprising when you think about what's at stake, because it's a massive question. It's worth a massive 4 points. Ooh. Oh, shut up. Tonight, the one massive question is this. If your nominee could commit any crime and get away with it, what would they choose? That's right, we've given each of your nominees an imaginary get-out-of-jail-free card and invited them to tell us what criminal offence they have always dreamed of committing, if only they could get away with it. Could be anything, big or small, from disregarding a hosepipe ban to committing GBH on a business rival. Sarah, think yourself into the mind of the man who gave you life, your father, Philip Kendall. Picture your father, Sarah. See the world through his eyes. We know that he likes Napoleon and thinks you should turn it down a bit. We all do. But what crime would he commit if he could get away with it?
I think it would be something like a jewellery heist or something like sexy and dangerous. Yeah, I'll say like a jewellery heist.
Philip, what's your crime going to be?
Oh, a successful bank robbery.
Sort of not close enough, really.
It's kind of close, though, because it's...
Oh, no. I will not bow to peer pressure. I'll give you 2 points.
Thanks, Joe.
Giles Brandreth, can you think yourself into the criminal mind of your daughter-in-law, Kasha?
I can now, yes. What a difference 28 minutes makes. I imagine she would find a country where 2 ways are illegal, and she'd give it a really good go.
Let's see, Kasha.
I would probably rob a massive bank.
Oh.
Yes, Kasha would rob a bank, but specifically a massive bank. So, Alliance and Leicester, you can sleep safe. So, no points there. Phil Wang. I don't want to put too much pressure on you, Phil, but your answer could destroy both your career and your family. Just try to be relaxed about it. Imagine your dad, Benny Wang, by day a respectable civil engineer, by night potentially a criminal mastermind. But put all of those things to one side and tell us, Phil, what crime would your dad commit if he thought Christopher Columbus wouldn't catch him?
No, I think it would be afflicting some sort of grievous bodily harm on someone. Because my father is a Shaolin black belt, because we come from a long line of stereotypes.
I'm just going to remind you that the last 2 were bank robberies.
He didn't say bank robbery, did he?
Benny, name your crime.
No, this world is quite materialistic. Maybe rob a bank.
Yes! All of our nominees would rob banks. I think we've put a gang together there out of your lot. So I'm going to give you 4 points, because you got it right, even though I gave you the answer, essentially. And that's the end of this week's It's Not What You Know. So let's see the final scores. In 3rd place, with 2 points, Giles. 2nd place, with 6 points, Sarah. But the winner, with 11 points, is Phil Wang. And that's it. Thank you to all of our panellists, Giles Brandreth and his daughter-in-law Kasha, Phil Wang and his dad Benny, and Sarah Kendall and her dad Philip. And until next time, just remember, it's not what you know. Bye-bye! It's Not What You Know was hosted by me, Joe Lycett. Some of the things I said are written by me and James Kettle, with additional material by Aidan Butler and Robin Morgan. The show was produced by Adnan Ahmed, and it was a BBC Studios production.